everyone, it's Monica, and welcome back to TaylorMade Cards for You. Well, happy 2018. I know it's been a while since I've shared with you, but I wanted to start the new year out right by sharing with you a Valentine's Day flip book that I created just before the holidays. Now, as you recall, I had a big holiday trip going on during the holiday season. We actually were in Italy for a couple of weeks, and I am just getting back into the swing of things. So I thought I would start out the new year by sharing with you a Valentine's Day flip book. What I really love about these flip books is you can create them for almost any occasion. This is actually a Valentine's Day theme, but I've also created these flip books for Christmas. You can add all sorts of ephemera. You can decorate it to add photos. You can leave room for journaling. There's just so many things you can do with these flip books, and they make wonderful keepsakes. Now, typically when I create these flip books, I create them not only to house photos, but I also like to create little pockets where you can add ephemera, write little notes, because if you're going on a trip or if you want to document something, I always want to make sure you have room for journaling. And then I also create little pockets or belly bands throughout the flip book so you can add pictures. Now, my flip books are a combination. Not only do I want to add pictures, but I want to document the moment. So I leave lots of room for journaling. You don't necessarily have to create so many pockets or lines for journaling, but to me, that is really what I want to document. The picture is only part of the story. You want to be able to talk about some of the things you enjoyed on your trip. Maybe there's a special story or a special event that happened that you want to document. So I always love to leave room for journaling. The pockets are also great as well, because if you were going on a trip, you can easily stick ticket stubs into these pockets or little pieces of keepsakes or memorabilia. Now, this book folds into a 6x6 notebook, and with dimensions that I've used and the band, it really folds up nicely. So even though I have lots of ephemera or things that are creating some bulk, the dimensions on this fold up really nicely, so it houses it really tight, and then it holds it together with a ribbon. Now, as you can see, I have lots of texture and lots of items that create a little bit of bulk, but because of the dimensions of this book, it holds it really nicely. So now that I've shared with you this Valentine's Day flip book, I do want to show you how to put together the base of the flip book. So if you want to put one of these together, you at least have the dimensions for the base. Decorating it is completely up to you. It's personal. So I'm not going to necessarily go through the whole process of decorating the flip book. I just want to show you how to put together the base, and then I'm going to leave it up to you and your creativity to decorate it. So let's go ahead and get started with the dimensions. Okay, so to start out, you're going to need 3 12x12 pieces of paper. And you want the cardstock to be somewhat heavy because, again, this is going to be a book. You're going to have lots of ephemera and embellishments, so you want to have a little bit of weight to it. And then you're going to take that 12x12 piece of paper and you're going to cut it in half, so that way you have 2 pieces of paper that have dimensions of 12x6. All right, then you're going to take one of those 12x6 pieces of paper and you're going to take it over to your scoreboard and you're going to score it 4 times. You're going to score it at 2.5 inches, 3 inches, 9 inches, and 9.5 inches. And then you're going to want to take your tool and fold down those edges so they're nice and crisp. Now, these are going to be your edges of your book, so you want to make sure that they're nice and straight. One thing I want to say about when you're cutting this paper is you're going to want to make sure that you're really precise, because when you actually put all of the pages together, you want to make sure that you don't have any pages that are over the edge, because when you go to decorate it, then your paper is going to be uneven. So do your best to really cut it exactly at 6 inches. And then when you score it, make sure that you score it really straight. Okay, so now that you have your base, you're going to want to go ahead and take your next piece of 6x12 paper and you're going to want to cut it in half. So you'll have 2 pieces of paper that are 6x6. Now for the demonstration, I am just using my ATG gun to adhere the pieces onto the cardstock, but you're going to want to make sure that you use some really good adhesive when you're putting this book together, because keep in mind it's going to be getting opened and closed quite a bit, and you want to make sure that you have adhesive that's going to hold your book together. So once you have your two 6x6 pieces, you're going to want to go ahead and take your adhesive and add adhesive to the right panel. And this is the panel that you've scored and it flips over, just as I'm doing here. And you're going to do that on both sides. Once you get your adhesive, you're going to go ahead and line it up to the score line. And you want to make sure that you are careful that your book will still close. So before you actually glue it down, make sure that you do test that. And you're going to do this to both sides. You've got your right panel, and then you're going to go ahead and add your left panel the same exact way. You're just going to take your adhesive, add it to the flip, the small flip portion of the book, and then this creates your outer edges of your book. All right, so now that we have the base of the book, we're going to go ahead and start adding our pages. So you're going to want to take another one of your 6x12 pieces of cardstock, and you're going to score it again. But this time you're going to score it at 3 inches and at 9 inches. And then again, you're going to go ahead and take your tool and fold it over so you have nice crisp folds. And then you're going to get your adhesive, and you're going to add adhesive to the back portion of this addition. Now this is going to be in the middle, and it's going to create your middle flaps. So make sure that it's nice and crisp, and you're going to want to test it to make sure that your book will fold. And again, this is where precision comes into play. You want to make sure that your lines are exactly at 3 and 9 inches, and then they should line up nicely to the base of your flip book. Now remember, when you are gluing these down together, you want to continue to test the ability to close your book. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that the fold lines aren't covered by your pages that you're adding. So before you actually push it down too hard, make sure that you do test the book, make sure that it closes nicely, that the folds aren't being covered up, and that you can easily open and close your book. So now that you have your back panel, let's go ahead and add the two side pages. And again, you're going to take another one of your 6x12 pieces of paper, and you're going to score again at 3 inches and 9 inches. And then you're going to take your tool to make sure that you get nice crisp folds. All right, now this time you're going to take the left flap and you're going to adhere it to the right middle flap. Now this might seem a little bit tricky, but it really isn't. All you're doing is simply taking your left side and adhering it to the left flap, and then again you're going to take your other piece once you adhere this piece, and you're going to do the same exact thing. So you're going to get out your adhesive, and you're going to add it to the left or the right flap, whichever one you're putting on first, and then you're going to line it up and adhere it to the middle flap. Now again, precision is the key. You want to make sure that you line these up perfectly, so that way when you fold your book, it will fold nicely and it will be really tight. And then again, you're going to take your last piece of paper and you're going to score it again at 3 inches and 9 inches, and you're going to add it exactly to the same way that you did the right side, but this time you're going to do it on the left side. And once you have all these pieces adhered, you should have a nice flip book. And as you can see, it folds over really nicely. You're going to have your inside pocket, and then you're going to be able to fold over to the right, over to the left, and then over to the right again, and then over to the left. And then you have your book. And then the only thing you'll have left to do is to decorate your book. Now, when I'm decorating my book, I always like to get matching paper. And then I also want to make sure that I have a nice paper trimmer, so that way my edges are nice and crisp. Typically when I'm trimming my paper, I will trim it about 1/4 of an inch so I have a nice edge. And then you can also add room for journaling. You can add pockets. The sky's the limit. So use your imagination when you're decorating these books. All right, everyone. So I hope that you've enjoyed my very first share for 2018 and that I've enticed you to stick around and follow me throughout the rest of the year. I have lots of fun projects planned for 2018, so I certainly hope that you stick around. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right, everyone, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.